Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Tuesday, October 16th, 2018. In both the Lynn life and the Jamie body mind, the authorized souls remain only child souls from the deeper, denser dimensions, and all other souls from all other dimensions, as long as the souls are already living by the many search for truth rules given to the search for truth community by wiser minds above all of us. Somebody's asking when we're going to stop using that, since nobody's paying attention to it. I don't think we're going to stop using that. That is a rule that's given to us. Please look up. Whenever they say to stop saying that, that's when we'll stop saying that. They're still saying to say it, and you guys are revealed as rule breakers, and it is true that you guys are not listening to that, and we acknowledge that. But there isn't anything we can do about that. That's your choice. We're trying to say it more clearly. That's all we can do, is say it more clearly. Wiser minds above all of us are telling us that you're not supposed to be coming in here until you're already living by the search for truth rules. We can hear them. Look up. Please look up. If we can hear them and we're way down here in the muck, can you not hear them? It is so loud today.
That's true.
There's so much ambient noise, and maybe it's actually the point of how much ambient noise there is and how difficult it is to hear. We know that what we've been attempting to do this morning, off and on, is just get back onto the life paths to evacuate the even deeper, denser dimension, which is the path that we're affiliated with. And we've done this 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times today.
That's true.
And we're immediately knocked off the life path again by some combination of forces, and we'll assume that it's just benign currents, but it might be intent to disrupt, and what difference does it really make?
I don't hear anybody talking.
I don't hear anybody talking. What now to evacuate the even deeper, denser dimension, since that is the one thing that wiser minds above have been able to come up with that actually seems to make a difference for good, a positive difference in all situations. The upward flow that we had all come to think would always be there has broken down, and therefore we must reestablish upward flow. And the obvious place to begin is with presences who wish to go up.
That's true.
And that's why we're attempting to evacuate the smaller presences from the depths to less dense realms, because they want to go up, so they're at least not fighting the process.
That's true.
And this is the only action that seems to create positive change in all situations.
That's true.
For whom is the message, and why do you ask? Somebody is talking about the planetary consciousness for Ground Zero planet Earth.
That's true.
And to our best awareness, Angela Merkel has been offered the position and has accepted.
That's true.
And she knows that what needs to happen is that human population needs to reduce to some number that is 2 billion or smaller.
Yes.
And she knows that the pollution needs to stop now, and now means now, and that we need to switch to renewable energy now, and now means now. And everything else is simply window dressing from her way of thinking, like nothing else matters more than that.
That's true.
And our contribution to her efforts is simply to remind less dense presences to leave her alone, that she now has the title, the job of planetary consciousness. It's on her soul contract.
That's true.
And her name is in the roster of planetary consciousnesses for various dimensions of planet Earth.
That's true.
And so we are to just remind presences to not harass her. And that's the best we can do for her right now. Why do you ask? And they're saying, and therefore, with that go on hand.
I see the go on hand. Therefore.
We think that therefore we can return our focus to providing upward flow as best we can and providing clear space to souls who are actually attempting to work on some facet of the collective challenges.
That's true.
And they're saying, what do you mean by that? First, please look up. That is a prime example. One collective challenge is that presences don't want to look up to wiser minds above and ask up, what do I do now? And breathe, and then do whatever wiser minds above say to do. That's a problem.
That's true.
And upward flow is helpful for that. It creates an updraft that makes it easier for presences to think about looking up, evacuating the depths. Am I on candid camera? Why are we having these basic repetitive conversations again? I think it's just that we're off the life path. I think that
That's
the currents right now, it's either that the currents are exceedingly turbulent or there's an active body snatching attempt in play, which could very well be because we were working with a client yesterday who is in the Vanavanov Empire. And
That's true.
sometimes the Vanavanovs forget that everything doesn't belong to them.
That's true.
And sometimes they use assets that have been assigned to other projects. Not saying that that's what's going on, just it's a possibility.
Oh, that's true.
Why do you ask?
Did you get that?
Oh, did you get that?
Did you hear that?
Oh, now I do feel big fingers letting go of something.
I also have that feeling.
Just a feeling of, oh goodness, sorry, that kind of feeling.
That's true. And now maybe we can pump up through that place that was pinched.
Yes, good. And send the data to the presence who is holding the Search for Truth pillar. Anybody who is
really
holding this energy body's pillar will send dead children and their environments from the depths, from the smaller subatomic, from dimensions that are denser and smaller than this one. Somebody's talking to somebody else in one of those rooms, and it's a overheard conversation. Somebody turned to somebody and says, "Did you know that Angela Merkel had a PhD in quantum chemistry?"
I hear those people talking.
Yes, and that means she's smart and capable of precise thinking.
That's true.
And somebody else is saying, "Did you know that her family voluntarily moved from West Germany to East Germany?" Which they did because he was a minister.
The father.
The father was a minister, thank you. And they're talking about Angela Merkel and things about her that make her not as crazy sounding a choice as somebody might think.
That's true.
And she's already had extremely responsible positions at the European Commission, I think is what that organization was called at the time. And of course, obviously, is Chancellor of Germany for over a decade.
That's true.
And given that the U.S. has abdicated responsibility and is now basically repeating the path of the Soviet Union, just setting itself up as an arms dealer and a warmonger.
Oh, that's true.
She's stepping into the vacancy provided by that and attempting to create some element of leadership to pull this disaster out of the ditch before we as a planet and dimension slam into a brick wall.
That's true.
She's really smart. She knows what to do. Let's see what she can do. And it's possible that when they were talking about well-funded planetary consciousness options and next best funded planetary consciousness options, that the point they were trying to make is that Angela Merkel doesn't have autonomy in deciding how to spend the pot of money of Germany or the EU, but she has influence.
That's true.
And that she has to involve others in the decision-making processes, but that she's capable and she's been accomplishing a lot, and nobody else wants the job.
That's true.
Who qualifies for the job, and let's let her do it. For whom is the message, and why do you ask? Oh, that goes way up.
Way up.
Thank you. That feels better.
Still talking about Angela Merkel.
I hear them talking about Angela Merkel. Maybe we'll just pump up dead children and their environments into that room, refugees from the depths into that room. It's interesting that Angela's education was in quantum chemistry. She would seem to be ideally suited to understand life in the depths, but again, we are reminded that we're being reminded right now that we are not supposed to bring up any topics with Angela. Don't muddy her thinking. She already knows what to do. She's already motivated to do what the situation calls for. Just let her do it.
That's true.
And remind people that she's got official sanction from divine minds above, and to leave her alone. Don't mess with her. When you mess with her, you're messing with God, basically.
That's true.
You mess with Angela Merkel, you're messing with God.
That's true.
Do you understand? Do you understand? They're also asking how they can help, since they're supposed to stay away from Angela Merkel.
That's what they're asking.
They're asking, well, where can we go and what can we do that's of service? And there are at least 10,000 bodies that are in need of good direction, but that's a big number, so we could narrow it down to 2,000 bodies who are in need of good direction, and if that feels like too big a number, we could narrow it down to 500 bodies. We're just looking for a number count that they seem on board with. That still seems to be too much.
Overwhelming.
Overwhelming. How about 200, 100, how about 20?
These presences feel like they can do 20.
Okay. Well, if you can only do 20 lives, you can converge into 20 lives and give them good soul support to do the right thing. What has been channeled in from wiser minds above is to go to the 20 top decision makers of the military in the U.S. because they have reasonable autonomy.
Well, that's true.
And they can, you can just help them see that it's in their best interest to do the right things. Reduce human population, stop polluting now. And they run the military bases, and there's a lot of military bases, and they control an awful lot, so stop polluting. The military is an enormous polluter, so stop doing that.
That's true.
And to put in renewables, do it now. Renewable energy, go to solar, go to wind, and to do it now.
That's true.
Solar is probably more to their liking because it's transportable.
It's very quiet upstairs.
Friends, if you can only staff 20 bodies, staff the top 20 military decision makers in the U.S. because they have autonomy. Somebody's asking why. Well, first ask wiser minds above, but our best guess is because they have autonomy in decision making, reasonable autonomy.
That's true.
So start with them. Here's the breeze. Where have you been? We missed you. Wow. Here it is. We were missing you. I was feeling like I was baking.
I also.
And now here it is. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is a yes about something. I know
That's
that
what
this
this
is a
feels
yes.
like.
This is a yes. I don't know what for. Alright, I think we gotta go.